They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. But what if that fury isn't just a reaction, but a feature? What if, behind the mask of charm, fragility, and warmth, lies something colder, more calculating, an evolutionary weapon finely tuned for survival? Something that's not evil in the way we think of villains in a movie, but evil in the way nature itself is indifferent, ruthless, efficient, and dispassionate. Let's step into a darker lens of reality. Let's see what happens when we strip away the romantic illusions, the sentimental lies, and the poetic flattery, and stare directly into the core of female nature through the brutal eyes of Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher who dared to say out loud what most were too afraid to even think. Schopenhauer saw the world as driven not by reason, not by morality, but by an unconscious, blind force, what he called the will to live. This will is the root of all suffering, all desire, all struggle. It doesn't care about truth. It doesn't care about justice. It just wants to keep reproducing itself at any cost. Life, for Schopenhauer, was a tragic mistake, an endless cycle of craving, mating, disappointment, and death. Now, imagine the role of woman in this machine, not as a partner, not as a soulmate, but as nature's bait. To Schopenhauer, women were not the better half. They were the seduction of the will itself. Their beauty, their voices, their tenderness, none of it was for love. It was nature's disguise. The true function of woman, he said, was reproduction, and every aspect of her personality, psychology, and behavior was merely an adaptation to manipulate man into sacrificing himself for that goal. That manipulation isn't always conscious. That's the terrifying part. It's not that women wake up plotting to deceive. It's that deception is baked into the code of their biology. The smiles, the tears, the helplessness, it all serves a purpose. And once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. The first illusion is love. Romantic love is the most dangerous lie of all. Schopenhauer believed love was nothing more than a trick played by the will to ensure reproduction. The feelings we call love, especially the burning desire a man feels for a woman, are simply chemical traps. A man thinks he's chasing happiness, intimacy, meaning, but what he's actually chasing is his own extinction. He devotes his resources, his energy, his future, for a fleeting illusion. And when that illusion fades, he's left drained, bitter, and empty. And what about the woman? She moves on, because for her, the game was never about forever. It was about securing what she needed at the time. A man to protect her, a man to fund her life, a man to validate her. And once he's no longer useful, the will pushes her to the next opportunity. And if you doubt this, look around. Look at divorce rates. Look at custody battles. Look at how often men are discarded the moment they stop being valuable. Schopenhauer described women as short-sighted and cunning, capable of deep manipulation without deep thought. Not because they are stupid, but because their intelligence is wired differently. They are instinctively social, instinctively strategic. They can fake affection with terrifying skill, smile in your face while planning your replacement. And because society teaches men to worship women, to see them as sacred, innocent, and pure, he never sees the dagger coming. That's the genius of the design. Evil hides best when it wears the face of an angel. Let's not forget, Schopenhauer wasn't writing in a modern, cynical world. He was writing in the 1800s, in a society that revered women as delicate flowers. And even then, he saw through it. He said women are like plants that grow in the shade, shrewd, adaptable, deceptive. They don't confront the world directly. They work from behind the curtain. Where a man might fight for what he wants, a woman influences others to fight for her. But let's go deeper. Think about the role of suffering. Schopenhauer believed suffering was the essence of life. And women, in this grim view, are not just the gatekeepers of life. They are the agents of suffering. Every birth is a new prisoner thrown into the cycle of pain. And what compels that birth? Seduction, manipulation, the illusion of love, the trap. In a way, women are the carriers of the disease of existence. Again, this isn't about blame. It's about understanding the machinery. Women aren't evil in a comic book sense. They are evil in the way a spider is evil to a fly. It's not personal. It's just how the system works. And it's not only men who suffer under this design. Women, too, are slaves to the will. They are driven by instincts they don't control. The obsession with youth, the fear of aging, the insecurity, the competition with other women, all of it stems from the same blind force. Nature uses them, chews them up, and throws them away once their reproductive value declines. That's why aging hits women differently. For men, age often brings power, wisdom, even attraction. For women, age is a kind of death in life. Their social currency vanishes, their beauty fades, their power dissolves. And beneath the surface, many of them know it. That's why so many try to hold on to youth through surgeries, makeup, filters, and denial. Because without beauty, their ability to manipulate the game collapses. And what is beauty, really? According to Schopenhauer, it's not just an aesthetic pleasure. It's a weapon. Female beauty is evolution's bait. It hypnotizes men into irrational behavior. It overrides logic. It makes kings kneel and empires fall. And what's terrifying is that women don't need to be aware of this power to use it. Their biology handles the script. The smile, the tone, the timing, it's all automatic. Have you ever noticed how a woman can change personalities depending on who she's around? Sweet and soft with one man, cold and indifferent to another. Loud and aggressive with one group, demure with another. It's not that she's being fake. It's that her personality is fluid, because her goal isn't truth, it's advantage. Adaptability is her real strength. And in a world where men are taught to be static, honorable, and loyal, this flexibility gives women the upper hand. Schopenhauer even argued that women lack a true sense of justice, not because they're malicious, but because justice requires objectivity, and women are wired to prioritize what benefits them or their offspring. A man might die for a principle. A woman will twist the principle to fit her needs, and society lets her, because she is protected by myth. Myth is the final piece of the puzzle. The myth of the virtuous woman, the loving mother, the innocent girl. These aren't truths. They're cultural software, written to keep men obedient, self-sacrificing, and blind. And in the background, the will keeps grinding forward, using women as the lures and men as the prey. This is not to say there aren't good women. This isn't a blanket condemnation. But the purpose of dark philosophy isn't comfort. It's clarity. And clarity demands we strip away illusions, even if what we find beneath them is terrifying. So, what do we do with this knowledge? Do we hate women? No. That would be like hating the weather for being cold. The better question is, how do we protect ourselves from being ruled by our instincts? How do we step outside the game? Schopenhauer believed the only escape from the will was renunciation, rejecting desire itself. Not just romantic desire, but the entire trap of craving, chasing, and needing. He admired celibacy, solitude, and artistic contemplation. In that stillness, he believed, we might find some peace. But that's a hard path. Most will never walk it. Most will keep chasing beauty, love, approval, falling for the same trap over and over. And maybe that's the cruelest joke of all. Because deep down, even when we know the truth, even when we see the pattern, we still want the illusion. We still want her smile. We still want to believe she loves us, that we matter, that it's different this time. But it's not. It never was. The game is older than us, older than memory, and it plays on. The question is, will you keep playing blind? Or will you finally open your eyes? And when you do, what will you see? Will you see a lover, or a predator, or something far worse? A mirror, a reflection of the will itself, cold, hungry, eternal, and wearing the face of a woman.